How's it going, y'all? Winston Bennett again. Hey, our first video was on leading and managing people. So this is going to be leading and managing people part 2. And in this second video, I want to illuminate the leadership ability of some of my former mentors, people that I've learned under, people that I've had a chance to work for. One of those would be Coach Rick Pitino. If you guys know anything about sports or basketball, you've heard the name Rick Pitino. Coach Pitino's been successful everywhere he's been. I worked for him at the University of Kentucky. And you might be asking the question, well, how did you work for Rick Pitino? You didn't play for Coach Pitino. I did not. I did not play for Coach Pitino. I had a desire after retiring from the NBA earlier than I wanted to because of a career-ending knee injury. I had a desire to still have some type of influence in the arena of basketball. I didn't know what that would look like, what that would be. But I knew I had so much knowledge and so much to give a young person as to how to, the work ethic that they needed to be successful in the classroom and on the court. I had been through it myself, so I could emulate it. I can show them at that point in time how it was to be done, the type of work ethic that it takes to accomplish that echelon of success on the collegiate level, like a University of Kentucky, and then wanting to propel that to the professional level of the NBA, what all that looks like. So when I think about the leadership of Coach Pitino and all his excellence, I have to look at, what his vision was. And his vision was always at the beginning of every season was that we are going to win a championship. He left nothing in the reserve tank. He explicitly laid out his vision of winning a championship and as to how we were going to do it. Now, in the realm of basketball and sports, particularly in basketball, you got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. What are the Jimmies and the Joes? The Jimmies and the Joes are the players or the talent that's going to help you get there. You can be the best CEO, the best coach you want to be, but if you ain't got the talent in your business, in your corporate arena, then it's going to be hard to lead your corporation in sales. It's going to be hard to win the championship without talent. The best thing to have is hard-working talent. Talent that don't know they're great, don't know that they're good, or have the ability to be good and are able to lay it on the line day after day, making themselves better. They haven't arrived yet. They never get to a place where they've arrived and think that they're there yet. If you got a team like that, then you'll never win a championship because they think they're already there. They think they already know it all. You got to have a team that's willing to go the extra mile, that's working extraordinarily hard. And that's what Coach Pitino was known for, was his work ethic. Getting in early, staying late, jumping on treadmills, running. Himself, this is what he would do, let alone his players. This is what he would do. You know what I'm saying? So we had to be in at that office at 6 a.m. And if you wasn't at 6 a.m., you thought Donald Trump was the first one to have a program talking about you're fired. No, Rick Pitino was doing that long before Donald Trump. You come in past, or if you came in at 6 o'clock, his words was, you're fired. My God. I mean, it was incredible, man. I'm here, man. You said 6 a.m. 6 a.m. means 5:45. 15 minutes early, always. You know what I'm saying? If he says you got to be there at 6 a.m., that meant 5:45 without him saying 5:45. That's how he rolled right there. You know what I'm saying? And then once we got in at 6, we as coaches would play basketball. You know what I'm saying? Up and down basketball, running at basketball at 6 a.m. So we'd do that from 6 to 6:30 or 6 to 6:45. And then our first group of what we call individual instruction would come in. That's where a group of players would come into the gym and we'd work on their individual skills to help them to get better. Because we knew if we were going to get better as a team, we had to help the individuals get better. Look at your corporate team. Look at your manufacturing team. That team does not get better as a whole unless you break the whole down into pieces, individual parts. So at Kentucky, when we was there with Coach Pitino, we would break it down into individual parts. We would help Antoine Walker on his post moves, his jump shot. And Antoine was the best player on the team. He could handle the ball. He had a nice little mid-range shot. You know, he could throw passes like he was Bird or Magic. And he was 6'8", handling the ball like a point guard. So we would work on his three-point shot, knowing that's something that he was going to have at the NBA level. And you can see an NBA player. I mean, you can see his talent. You know that that's where he's going to go as long as he stays away from injuries. That was Antoine Walker. Antoine wasn't the best jumper. He wasn't the fastest player, but his skills was off the chart. His basketball IQ was off the chart. You know what I'm saying? So if you're building a team and managing people, you got to get talented people. You got to get people or try to find people whose talent is off the Richter scale, ideally. Now, sometimes you can't find the best talent. Sometimes you got to have average talent, but people with extraordinary work ethic. That gets you over the hump too. If I got a player with an extraordinary work ethic and some talent that's willing to run through a wall for me, oh man, we can accomplish great things. We can accomplish great things. Yeah, we're talking about managing people, managing and leading people. Now, here's the thing about Antoine. Antoine was a very talented player from Chicago, Illinois, but very precocious. Antoine talked a lot. You know, he had a big mouth, but he could back it up, you know, with his play. But he was, you know, he was one of those guys, man, that you couldn't tell him a whole lot. But day after day, moment after moment, Coach Pitino got to him, got in his head, got him thinking, if you're going to make it to the NBA, you got to listen and you got to be coachable. And Antoine was smart enough, because he's a very intelligent young man, or man, you know, that he took that in. And what happens? He ends up going to the NBA and making hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. That's how that works. So if you're building a team, if you're trying to manage people, try to get the best people you can. One, from an integrity standpoint. Two, from a coaching standpoint, people that are willing to listen and to put into play what you're attempting to teach them. There's no use having great talent if the talent is not coachable. They got to be coachable. They got to be malleable. You got to be able to mold them into what you want them to be as a coach, as a player. You know what I'm saying? So once you have that and you're able to get a team of those and build what's called team chemistry. Coach Pitino was excellent in building team chemistry. One, letting each player know the vision and how they're going to fit into the vision. What's your role, Jeff Shepard, in the vision? Well, you're going to handle the ball. You're going to play great defense for us. Okay, it starts on the defensive level for you, Jeff. You got great talent. You jump super high. You can handle, you can pass, but you got to be one of our defensive stoppers. Okay. Then he would go down to Derek Anderson, another great athlete. He was a part of the air pair. Derek Anderson and Ron Mercer. These guys can jump out of the gym. Just throw them balls up anywhere near the backboard. They're going to go get it and dunk it for you. They also going to get you steals on the press, where we required 45 plus steals on the press. These guys are going to go get them for you. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of guys they were. Great slashers, great pull-up jump shooters. They could do it all. I want you to see the type of talent that we had on the 96 Kentucky team that won the championship. Antoine Walker played the 4. Derek Anderson played the 2-3. Ron Mercer played the 2-3. Anthony Epps, a cerebral point guard, played the point, would get everybody in their spots and knew every play and every spot on the play. Yeah. He was backed up by my man from Boston, and I can't think of his name right now. My God, it's my guy too. But he was quick. Yeah, he was quick. You know, Anthony Epps wasn't the quickest point guard, but he would get where he needed to get to. And then my other point guard, man, he would get there because he had such great quickness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was a blaster. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we had a guy like Mark Pope that would just run through a wall for you, could shoot threes. He's 6'9", rebound the ball. It's just going to outwork everything. You know, going to outwork anything in front of him. Then you got Walter McCarty, 6'9", 6'10". Again, throw it up near the backboard. He's going to go get it. And then they shoot threes too. So, I mean, you had all type of players, and I know I'm leaving some people out, so forgive me. But, man, this is the type of team we had in 96. But my point in this, in leading and managing people, You got to have people that's willing to buy into the vision. Great talent that's willing to buy into the vision, that's willing to go the extra mile to do more than what is expected of them. None of these players will come in and say, that's not my job to dive on the floor. That's not my job to take charges. I'm a scorer and that's all I'm going to do. If they came in with that type of attitude, Coach Pitino would send them right home. No, but they knew they had to come in with a selfless attitude. And the only way they were going to get what they wanted to get was an NBA contract, was that they all had to win together, not as individuals. The team had to win. And that's what most people don't understand in managing people, is that the team has to win. Only when the team wins does the individual accomplish great things like they want to accomplish. But we get it backwards. We figure we got to go for ours, go for yours, do your thing. You know, that's the way to win the championship. No, the way to win the championship is to be a part of a great team. And as the team is elevated, the individuals on the team is elevated. Yeah. That's how that goes right there. Ooh, man. So that's good stuff right there. So again, I'm thinking about Coach Pitino and his leadership style. Some would say his leadership style was very abrasive because he would cuss you out at the drop of a hat. If you wasn't getting the job done, expect him to roll up in your boxes, get in there with you, get in your face. He wouldn't shake you. He wouldn't put his hands on you. But the way he got at you, man, it made you feel like crawling under a rock time he got through with you. You know what I'm saying? That was his style, though. And it worked well for him. There's more than one way to skin a catfish. You do know that. Many different styles. I played for a guy, Lenny Wilkins, who barely raised his voice when I played for him with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But you knew where he stood. If you didn't work hard, if you didn't accomplish what he wanted you to accomplish, the way that he would talk would be to set you on the bench and you wouldn't play. Yeah, that's how he talked. And that rang bigger than anything else, any words that he could say. That's sitting you on the bench where you can't perform. And if you can't perform, you can't help your team. And if you can't help your team, you certainly ain't going to get a nice contract to help your family. Okay? So when we talk about managing people, you got to find which buttons to push when it comes to people, because everybody's different. You know, everybody's different. What everybody wants to get accomplished, that's different too. There's some people that just kind of laid back, they're cerebral, you know, they just riding the wave. But then there's other people, man, that want to buck the system. They want to get everything that they can get out of this thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got to know which buttons to push when you managing people and trying to lead them. You almost got to do a survey with each individual talent, like Coach Pitino did. Sit each one of them down. What are you here? Why are you here? What role do you feel like you fulfill in this team? How can you help this team become successful? Forget the you, take the I out of it. Think about the team. What can you bring to help service the team and get the team to the championship? All right, man. Well, that's managing and leading people part 2. I hope you're getting something from these lessons, man. Because I've had such great experiences working for Coach Pitino, working for Coach Lenny Wilkins, you know, working with some of these great minds who are very, very successful at what they do. Hopefully you can inculcate this into what you do, whether it's your manufacturing company, you know, whether you leading, or whether you are over a school system, you know, any different company or thing that you over, this can be inculcated into it. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Peace.